All right, as expected, back with the Fox News alert, President Biden arriving in Tel Aviv, Israel safely, kicking off the first leg of his 4-day journey through the Middle East that will wrap up with a visit to Saudi Arabia.
That's right. As you can see, the cameraman is zooming in. The red carpet leads to Air Force One there on the tarmac at Ben Gurion Airport. As the visit starts today, it's going to start a 3-day visit to the country. Discussions about the Iran nuclear deal are expected to be at the center of the meetings with the Israelis. During his stay, Mr. Biden is expected to learn more about the country's new Iron Beam missile defense system. He will also visit the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum and will receive Israel's Presidential Medal of Honor.
He is meeting with the new prime minister there in Israel and other top leaders. Then he'll stop in the West Bank, and then he'll head to Saudi Arabia to meet with the Crown Prince. And there he is, Air Force One. We are waiting on him to come out. We haven't seen him yet.
Meanwhile, let's not wait any longer to bring in Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw. Congressman, welcome back. On this trip, 4 days in Israel, what do you expect to emerge from this? One, he's going to go, well, without an Israeli official to East Jerusalem, to the West Bank as well.
Yeah, look, this obviously marks a pretty drastic change from how Trump approached the Middle East. And Trump approached the Middle East saying very forthrightly, Israel is our ally, we will support Israel. And that had a lot of interesting consequences. We had the Abraham Accords. We had a very clear direction for the entire region from the United States. He said we're getting out of the Iran nuclear deal. That was really popular with the Israelis. It was really popular with our allies, Saudi Arabia, as well. And so through that strength and through that clarity, we created what was a really unprecedented alliance, as shaky as it might be, still an alliance embodied by the Abraham Accords. So I think it's going to be a bit of a cold reception, because Biden ran on and continues to push for an Iran nuclear deal that is very unpopular with the Israelis, very unpopular with the Saudis. Biden continues to push for an anti-energy policies. So these things aren't good. Now, and then this visit to East Jerusalem without any Israelis with them, that's extremely problematic. That's extremely symbolic that this administration and the American left in general place some kind of moral equivalence on Israelis and the Palestinian terrorist organizations that continue to lob missiles on Palestinian neighborhoods. So I think it'll be a cold reception, but a necessary meeting nonetheless.
Well, he's getting a warm reception here in Israel. They've just rolled out the rest of the red carpet right up to Air Force One. It's going to be interesting to see Congressman Crenshaw, if as the president comes down the stairs there from the airplane, whether or not he shakes any of the hands at the welcoming committee, because as our White House correspondent just told us, apparently the White House doctor has said he's not going to shake anybody's hands because of COVID, even though he shook a couple of hundred hands yesterday, because the White House does not want an image of him shaking the hand of MBS, who he's going to ask for a bunch of oil from in 2 days.
I think they're overthinking it. Just shake somebody's hand when you meet them. This isn't rocket science here.
Well, for COVID, it's COVID, Congressman.
Right,
it's COVID today, but not yesterday.
Exactly. It's COVID day. Yeah, Tuesday was Taco Tuesday. So today is Don't Shake Hands Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, sorry, Brian. Do you have a question?
Yeah, just real quick, Congressman. When you're at Israel, they're going to be talking about the Iranian deal. How do we make it clear? The Iranians don't want the deal. Nobody else wants the deal. When's the president going to realize we shouldn't get the deal? Why is he still holding on to this deal that's about to evaporate anyway?
I don't know why Democrats have always been so obsessed with the Iran nuclear deal. I don't know if they're really true believers that this is the pathway to peace in the Middle East, when all of our allies are telling us the opposite, when all of our intelligence tells us the opposite, when any shred of common sense you might have tells us the Iranians are gaming this out. They're long-term thinkers. They are clever. They are deceitful. I hope that the Israelis, I hope that the Saudis share intelligence with Biden that is convincing and persuasive and says, look, no matter what you do, the Iranians will go down this path. The only way to deter them is through strength. You have to make sure that they know that there are consequences if they pass these lines. You have to include other things in these deals, like their meddling throughout the Middle East, like their regional destabilization efforts, their testing of ballistic missiles that have the capability to carry nuclear warheads. warheads. All of these things have to be on the table. The Israelis know that. The Saudis know that. It's time that we understood it as well.
Congressman, let's talk about the border, because he met with the president of Mexico yesterday. They talked about legal pathways to citizenship, and Mexico is asking us to expand our number of work visas and to welcome more refugees, and they have agreed to pay $1.5 billion to improve smart border technology. Then he also said, hey, come down to Mexico. Our gas is cheaper than it is in the United States. What was your reaction to their conversation yesterday?
Well, taking a step back, I think in general, the Mexican president and President Biden do not see things all that differently when it comes to immigration. It doesn't really bother AMLO that there's millions of people crossing our border illegally. It should, of course. I mean, this empowers the drug cartels of Mexico to the tune of millions and billions of dollars, which makes them a very difficult entity to deal with for his government. But in the end, they don't. Now, that being said, let's not forget, President Trump was able to get AMLO to do the Remain in Mexico policy. Now, he did that through hard negotiation. He did that through threatening tariffs. So, look, the Mexican government, I believe, can go either way. It depends on who the American president is. And in this case, the American president seems to want illegal immigration.
Right.
And so this conversation is exactly what you would expect. I mean, AMLO, I think, is just playing whichever side is placed in front of him.
Right. Congressman, before you go, since we were talking about that, you have introduced a bill to crack down on abuses with the asylum process, because they are many.
Right. So that's the core of the problem at the border. It's not that people are even trying to get away. They're turning themselves into Border Patrol because they believe they'll just be let loose in the United States. So this is a huge incentive mechanism. So you have to begin to reverse that. So first of all, with the asylum process, my bill would make it illegal to claim asylum if you cross the border illegally. You have to go to a point of entry. If you cross the border illegally and violate Section 1325, and then when you're being deported, you start to claim asylum, that would be illegal. We would also change the standards, because right now the standards are a little vague. It's vague to state credible fear. It needs to be more specific and say, look, you actually have a case of asylum because of a persecution from a government entity.
Dan, he's just walking down. Let's see if he shakes anyone's hands. Oh, he's doing fist pumps.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah, it's a good middle ground, I guess.
Yeah, all right.
Will he do that with the
Oh, he just touched the
Crown
guy.
Prince?
Oh! Remember, he can. I wonder if he'll fist bump MBS.
Right.
That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah, don't. Oh, look, it's up there.
Oh, can we hug? We
Which
can't.
foot is it?
Call Fauci. That looks like close contact.
I won't shake, but I'll breathe on you.
Holy cow. Okay, another. Every one of the
All of
Israelis
them
is
have
holding
their
out their
hands
hands.
open.
That's just
They're like,
great.
what's
Hi.
going on?
Is this 2020?
All right.
Very informal.
Right.
It is.
Hey, want to get a vaccine together?
Oh, look at that.
That'll look
All right, Congressman, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.